What up, party people? Okay. Forging ahead. Welcome to episode 7 of Carbony Bronze. I am your host, Chris.
And I'm Sean. This week we watched on Carbony Bronze, of course, another episode of Altered Carbon. We watched episode 7, Nora Inu.
Now, did either of us look up what Nora means in Japanese?
No.
Do you want to do that now?
I can do that right now.
Let's feel mad informed.
Google Translate. You want to talk to people while I do this?
I thought your key presses would be speech enough. I have something to say.
Oh, okay. Go.
As is my habit, I often realize when we finish an episode of this, something that I wanted to bring up but didn't. And one such thing that I wanted to bring up last week, but forgot to, is that the scene where Vachmo, in the book, gets rescued from the deathmatch with Cadman, because that's what happens. He gets saved by Trep and the cops, is basically illustrating the success of the envoy method, where he gets saved by a bunch of people who don't really have any reason to owe him loyalty, but do it anyway, because he's persuasive and a cool guy.
Yep.
And, and if you're trying to sell him as super godlike, which is what the fucking show has been trying to do, that's the kind of thing that you might put in, but instead in the show, he's just, saved by Raylene because...
Yep.
Out of nowhere. It's lame and bad. So what does Nora mean?
Stray. So the whole episode is called Stray Dog.
Ah, we know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super good.
So this episode sucks, obviously. It's an hour and 6 minutes long, I think.
Yep, that's about right.
It's super fucking long. And bad. And
I don't know if this is worse than the other one that I really hated, but it's up there.
Something it made me realize is I'm pretty sure that the different episodes of this show were written by different people with not a lot of supervision or crosstalk.
Oh god, no!
Because this is the second episode that has featured an internal monologue.
Yep. I think I mentioned that in one of my notes.
Oh, you definitely did, which has not been in any of the others. It's mainly recaps of shit we've already seen with a little bit of new stuff.
Yeah, there was nothing new in this episode that you could have either garnered yourself or didn't matter.
Yeah, and it's a huge momentum killer, frankly. The story was kind of moving forward at the end of the last episode. I guess if they were making it to be binged, maybe this is the lull. This is the calm down in between.
This is the episode where you can order yourself some dinner and just pay attention to that while you check your phone.
Yeah, that's what this episode is for.
Check your Facebook messages.
You should, on no accounts should you pause it while the pizza arrives. You should just
fuck no,
just watch it and walk away.
Talk to the guy. Talk about timelines.
Yeah, now would be a good time to talk to the pizza man about Altered Carbon.
Yeah. Wait, there's other timelines? Then shut the door in his face.
Yeah. All right, Sean, so I understand you have a lot of notes. Do you want to start the rundown?
All right, so the episode starts with some in between the Vatch kind of coming in and out of consciousness. He is remembering his childhood, and the first thing he does is kills his dad after his dad killed his mum and dumped her body in a pool of liquid coolant.
Yep.
Dissolving it forever.
Now, how many times did this happen in the book?
None. Never, ever, none. Yeah. 0. Also, my very first note is right here. All white people look the same. Did the Vatch's dad look the same as the best actor in the show, Sans Tats?
Yes, he looks very... I think it's just the beard.
It's just all... that's why I put all white people look the same.
I mean, he doesn't have a shaved head, and I think he's a little heavier than the...
Yeah, probably. Maybe it's his brother.
Than Beardy McCawson. Yeah, it's his chubby brother. Yeah, they brought him to play Mr. Vatch.
Yeah. So, yeah, that happens, and then Ray and... Because he killed his dad to save his little sister, who saved him at the end of the last episode. You see what they did there, Chris?
Yeah, no, I don't. But you'll have to explain it to me.
I can't be bothered. So, after killing his...
No, Takeshi's always been a good boy. He's a good boy. He never did anything wrong or bad.
No, he's always been a murderer, is what you should take away from this.
Oh, is that what we should take away? Yeah,
Yeah, he's always been a murderer. And then after he RDs his dad, he gets interrogated by one of the space people, SeaTac.
Okay, SeaTac, who are standing in for the Envoy Corps.
Yep. Because they've messed up who the Envoy Corps are.
You can see the way they fucked up the show. I mean, the reason the Envoy Corps have the ability to do computer magic inside Virtual is because they needed to have additional powers over what SeaTac can do anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the only one they could think of. Buffoons, Sean. Buffoons.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying that I could write a better show. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I could write a better show, and I'm a fucking idiot.
I'm going to say that if I stuck a pen up my ass and then fell down the stairs, I would write a better show on the walls.
Oh, okay. So as soon as you said pen up your ass, I immediately assumed you went ballpoint up.
Well, how...
Actually, you know what? You could have gone ballpoint up and still written a better story.
I reckon
the scratches and scrabblings against the wall would have done it.
Alright, let's try this again. If I put a pen in my mouth and took a header off the Eureka Tower, I'd write a better story on the pavement. How about that?
So the kid and the cop.
That's a good name for a short story.
Yeah, or a buddy cop show. The Kid and the Cop. Yeah, he's got to be home by 9. That's the tagline.
Can't prosecute a 10-year-old. Do some extrajudicial murders, boy. The cop is not a good cop.
No,
he's a bad cop.
No, he's not. No, he's not. My juvie records are sealed.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, he makes a deal with the devil, I guess, about becoming a SeaTac. But the whole thing is that he has to get Ray into a good family.
Yeah, so there's a couple things wrong with this scene. The first one is that the idea that the Protectorate would need to recruit traumatized 11-year-olds to be Special Forces operatives is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, this prepubescent boy is good at killing people. Let's get him on board.
No. So the Envoy Corps gets their recruits from the military, primarily. Everyone takes a psych evaluation when they enlist. And the tiny percentage of people that are, predisposed for Envoy training get sucked into the Envoy Corps. It's that fucking simple.
It's the ones who are sociopaths. They get the sociopaths.
They get the sociopaths. When you have a dozen planets worth of people signing up to be Marines, you do not need to go and find traumatized children to be your child soldiers. It's done.
No.
Secondly, the guy has... They apparently literally sell Raylene into slavery.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we will. But not keeping your promise to a person who you're about to train to be a master assassin in a way that they will definitely find out is a really stupid thing to do.
Also, but even if you wanted to do that, Chris, you're lying to a child. And not a white lie like Santa lives on the North Pole or is real. It's, no, we're going to take your sister and put her somewhere nice.
Yeah, but he's a government murder man, so I don't think lying to children really figures into his morality. I'm trying to phrase his dumbness in terms of, self-preservation and good sense, rather than doing a bad thing. Which, he clearly does, constantly.
Yeah. So what happens after that? He makes the deal. He says that he's going to go off the planet, and they're going to take a child's mind and stick it in a man's body, for starters. I
ain't touching that with that 50-foot pole.
Because the first thing a 10-year-old boy in a man's body would do would be, kill more people and then have sex, right? Because 10-year-old boys are basically... All 10-year-old boys are sociopaths.
Do you see this 50-foot pole?
Yep.
Do you see how I'm not touching anything with it?
Well, okay. All right, fair enough.
I agree. It makes no sense, and it's dumb.
So the next thing I wrote down is because right after this scene, I think Ray says it's like a 1 in a billion thing that I found you.
Yeah, that flashes back to the present. So Vachmo is bleeding out on Raylene's couch while she patches him up. And she's like, your body's dying, I'll get you a new one. He's like, no, you've got to save this sleeve. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And she says 1 in a billion. So I've literally written 1 in a billion, huh? What the shit? Lazy writing.
My next note is flashback shootouts are boring. Because the next scene is quite a long action sequence of Takeshi, now an adult, back in his original sleeve, which has clearly been rented out to the military in the meantime.
Back on Harlan's World as well.
Yeah, back on Harlan's World.
Yeah.
Going to do some special ops shit and running into grown-up Raylene, and then they murder everyone. And some of it is slow-mo, and some of it is fast-mo. And while I was watching it, I was thinking about, they used to call slow-motion overcrank, because they literally cranked the handle harder. Zack Snyder used that in all his movies, like 300 and Watchmen, and before I knew it, the scene was over, and I had absorbed none of it.
I've written 3 things about that scene. If Saito turns out to be Rei, this will be the dumbest shit yet. Oh, just working with her, huh? So almost lazy. They swerved at the last second. Brother-sister team-up fight. Why did they kill them all? Why not just kill the baddies and have her join up? Or tell her to leave and then meet her later on? Knives in a gunfight. Still carrying the sword when there are literally hundreds of guns on the floor.
You don't understand. Swords are cool.
Swords are cool, but it doesn't make sense in a world where there are supposed to be lasers.
Yeah, I agree. It's dumb and stupid.
Alright, because like when you can have in a film like a guy cut like a bullet out of the air with a sword, fine, whatever. That's kind of cool. It's totally not practical, but in a world where there are lasers, you can't cut a laser with a sword that isn't also a laser. And even then, I don't know what happens.
I think that...
I'm pretty sure they explode, right?
I think that Vachmo's various adventures demonstrate that there is a place for simpler weapons, even in a setting that has lasers. But if you're running around with a primary weapon that requires both hands to fire, not much point also having a cutter.
Yeah, not every science fiction show has to be a video game, Chris.
You're telling me or you're telling them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes is the answer. You don't need to have a primary and a secondary weapon and a belt full of grenades and a bum full of med kits. It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you're playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds,
yes.
How often do you actually hit someone with your frying pan?
Hardly
ever.
I think I did it once.
Getting a frying pan kill should automatically let you win.
Oh, yeah. It should just stop the whole game.
Yeah.
All 80 people just have to see you in slow-mo kill someone else with a frying pan.
Stung!
Yes.
And so on. So the next thing that happens is that Vachmo and Rei go fucking around in a forest that they remember from their childhoods.
Oh, I wrote something about that as well. Yeah. They found something in the forest decades ago that will help them now. How fucking convenient!
Yeah, that's real dumb. But what they found didn't help them. It was just a song spire.
Another note. Weren't song spires only still growing on Mars?
No. Song spires are found all over where the Martians settled.
Oh, right, okay.
And I have my note here is call them Martians, you fucking cowards, because once again they've referred to them as the Elder Race. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Call them Martians.
Yeah,
cowards.
That whole scene where they're supposed to be having that weird fake sincerity.
Oh, I know. I was like, what? She goes off at him for not talking to her during the whole trip, which they skipped over and we didn't get to see. I mean, this episode is so long and so full of nothing at all. They could easily have put in an awkward scene where they fail to relate to each other properly now that they're grown-ups, but they just didn't.
No, because it was like the writers didn't want to waste their time either.
They're happy wasting ours, though.
Yeah, we've already given them 40 minutes of this show that are worthless in this episode alone. So we're not going to waste any more time. Because we had to write those 40 minutes. I mean, I say write. I mean, throw a dictionary against a wall and see what jumble of words appeared.
Anyway, then Kel and Co show up and...
I also forgot to say that in the tradition of this story, great combination names, like Takeshi Kovacs, which I already liked the first time I read the book, but the guy that they go up against, the mob boss, the Yakuza, his name is Gottfried Saito.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I enjoyed that.
I wasn't fully listening, but I'm grudgingly giving the show a mark for trying for that one.
Yeah, Gottfried Saito. And yeah, so they do that weird. They have a weird fake laugh together, and then the weird sincerity. And my next line is, "And look who it is."
Yeah, well, Kelchrist and Co show up and smack
Of course
Takeshi.
they fucking do. Of course they fucking do.
And then they go to a bridge because it's more dramatic than a forest clearing.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's it. That's the only reason I can fathom for why the next scene takes place on a bridge.
It would have been something like, oh, no, guys, if he's in the middle of the bridge and they cut the bridge, he'll just fall to his death. That's the best way to restrain a murder man.
You know, bullets fall faster than people, only sideways. Into people.
You know what else works?
Christo, 2017.
If someone else is tied up, scalping them.
I mean, yes.
If you've tied him up right, scalping him will stop him. What?
I don't know how we got to scalping.
I don't know either.
So after providing basically no arguments as to why the Vatch should join her, the Vatch joins her and signs Ray up as well, and now they're part of the Uprising.
Yep.
The most generic name for an insurgency ever.
Oh, I don't know why I wrote it here and not beforehand. When oh no, I think it's because that's the reason why Vatch wants to join up with the Uprising. It's like they took everything, really. They lied about your sister being placed with a good family, and they took you and trained you to be a killing machine and gave you everything you thought you wanted. What a trite cliche this is.
Yeah, this is particularly weird. So in the book, Vatchmo does have extremely good reasons to hate the Protectorate.
Yeah.
But in this, when they've gone out of their way to make him a freedom fighter guy, he kind of doesn't. I mean, Ray's not dead. We never learn any details of, you know, if she had a horrendous life.
Yeah, I mean, they imply it. They imply
they
that
don't even really imply it.
Well, it just that her life's not been great, obviously.
Well, she ain't dead.
That's true.
And neither's he.
No, that's also true.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking weak.
Oh, and I wrote about the bridge scene that when Kelchrist gets really close up in his grill, I said, God, if they kiss in this scene, I might throw up. Because she gets so close to him for no reason other than to prove her point, and then the writers somehow that she's a badass who knows everything about everyone ever.
Well, she is and does, as we'll learn later.
Oh my god, so many problems with that in this episode. Anyway, so bridge dumbness happens, and then that's right, because we have some more Vatchmo narration at this point, and this is where I talk about the voiceover. As why hasn't the Vatch's voiceover always been in his original voice? That would be the voice he'd hear in his own head, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think hadn't occurred to me, but yeah, you're very right.
I mean, like, I can understand
or maybe
why
it's part of envoy acclimatation protocols that you learn to do it with your current sleeve's voice. I don't know.
Well, then why isn't it a robot voice?
Why would that make it a robot voice? He's not a robot.
No, but if it doesn't matter whose voice it is, it could be anyone's voice. It could be my voice, your voice, a cat.
Yes, I'm sure his internal monologue is a cat. Meow, meow.
He sure acts like a cat, does whatever the fuck he wants, kills without remorse.
Yep, lasers in sunbeams for hours and hours.
Yep.
Hates that little fucker Nermal.
Yeah. Yeah. Always dropping headless mice at my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so yeah, they joined the Uprising. I guess the other reason why the voiceover wouldn't have been his original voice probably is because, and I'm guessing this might have even come up at some point, people might have found it confusing.
Oh, I absolutely know that that's the reason.
Yeah.
The show thinks we're idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really kind of, as a whole, given that it's a piece of fiction that deals with identity existing independent of body, how little the show is interested in engaging with that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dumb. So they join the Uprising, they go to the camp in a cave with another Songspire, and then it's training time.
Okay, this scene made me so angry.
Yeah, I know exactly why it made you angry.
I will tell the people. They identify a Sunjet.
And it's a fucking gun!
It's a fucking gun! It shot a fucking bullet!
It shot several bullets.
What? What is this?
I typed it all in caps. He said Sunjet and it was a fucking gun.
Sunjet's fired, one, but also zero, because no. It's like, what would lead you, like, the name Sunjet is so evocative, and it's clearly evocative of not a bullet.
The only other thing a Sunjet should be is a weird kind of spaceship.
Yeah, that fires suns out the back in order to go fast.
I was
possibly has a solar sail.
I was thinking more the solar sail thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
or
that's
absorbs solar radiation.
That's all shit. We have the introduction of Jimmy DeSoto, who is in this story.
Yes, finally.
Who has the most cliched, I don't trust him, he's new, I guess he's alright, character progression over about 3 scenes.
It's so terrible.
Just real damn lazy. Real damn lazy. Alright, we're roughly up to this point where they're now...
So they infiltrate. They infiltrate together, and this is the bit where DeSoto befriends him after the Vatch saves
kind of. I don't know why they didn't show the infiltration. Probably because the episode was too long already. But it's really weird to just have 30 seconds of staring at nothing, and then we're told an action scene happened, guys, and it was cool.
Yeah, and you know what bit annoyed me the most about that?
Nope.
Why do they always say punch it, Chris?
Because...
Why do they always do it?
I think it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars, right? Doesn't Han Solo say punch it when they go to light speed?
Probably, but not everything is Star Wars. This certainly isn't.
Yeah, but all these people have seen Star Wars. So that's the thing. Every piece of fiction that was created after Star Wars, the characters in it have seen Star Wars.
So you're saying Star Wars exists across all fictional universes?
That's what I'm saying, yes. And so they know instinctively that punch it is the right thing to say.
You know, that actually makes me feel better about this scene. I don't know whether or not you intended for that to happen, but that's what happened.
I absolutely didn't, but I'm glad to have assisted you.
Yeah, I don't know. You shouldn't, because we hate this show. Moving right along. So that whole scene happens, and then Kelchrist does her magic MacGuffin thing.
Okay, yeah, so there's a lot of problems with this.
Yep. I assume you've got at least 1 or 2 notes.
Yeah, so basically what happens is she says, the reason that oppression exists is because of stack technology. And later we learn that she invented it somehow.
Yeah, I my comment on that is, what? Why is Kelchrist doing everything in this story?
Yeah, she's Virginia Fedora, she's the inventor of...
Stacks.
Stacks, like, fuck. So...
It'll turn out she's her own mum or something.
She's definitely her own mum.
Yeah.
The reasons for Kelchrist's original rebellion in the books are interesting and super local to Harlan's world, which makes it incredibly weird that she'd be going off-world to do things. But basically, Harlan's world, you know, as the name would suggest, is ruled over by the immortal Harlan family.
Yeah.
And everyone else is kind of second-class citizens, regardless of other things. And removing the ability for the original founders to live forever won't actually fix that problem. Because
you just get replaced by another monster.
Well, no, intergenerational wealth will keep it going just fine. I mean,
also, there's so many problems with this plan. By the way, the plan was that she would go to the headquarters of badness. Yeah, she'd go to the Legion of Doom and download her MacGuffin virus into every single stack in existence at the same time.
Yeah, so everyone would get a 100-year lifespan. Now, is that 100 subjective years or 100 objective years? Because it would suck to be 20, go into storage for 100 years, come out and go, I'm free, then immediately die.
Doesn't matter, the whole thing's dumb and easily bypassed. Wouldn't they just be able to give the next generation stacks without it?
Yes, the instant anyone figured out what had happened, they would fix it.
Also,
there are tons of people that are in storage.
Yeah, also, if it's 100 years from the moment the virus hits everybody, couldn't they just spend all of the universe's resources and time undoing what they did? They've got 100 years to do it in.
I think the plan, which is very stupid and badly explained, hinges pretty heavily on them not knowing that they've done it.
But
which there's no way they could possibly conceal that. So yeah. This story hinges so much on computer magic, which is really disappointing and irritating.
Yeah. Also, and then on top of that, there's no boats.
Oh yeah, this I guess forests are cheap to shoot in, which is what this episode was mainly about.
I didn't even think they were real forests. I thought that was a soundstage.
No, I think they're real. Well, some of the stupid fucking plinth with the computers in it is clearly not real.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they go to the planet and they do the thing. Because it's a different planet, right? It's not on Harlan's world. They go to somewhere else.
I don't know. It's not super clear.
They go to the core.
No. It has no. They're using their sleeves, so it has to be on Harlan's world.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
Since you can't take anything off Harlan's world because it gets shot down by the Martian defense platforms.
That's right. So they go to the core of Harlan's world and they're going to do the thing, and they do part of the thing, but not all of the thing, and then get caught.
Yeah, or Vachmo gets caught, and then he escapes with computer magic, and they kill the cop guy.
Before they kill the cop guy, my note is, we'll make the space guy into the space Nazi. Real clever. Because he starts speaking German, Chris. He's so while torturing him, he's now a Nazi. They've made him a Nazi.
It's subtle, I'll grant you, but
yeah. Also, why would she come back for him? That's exactly what envoys don't do, right?
Ray posits that it's because he could spill the beans on the plan and they needed secrecy for it to work.
But aren't they all trained to not ever do that ever? There's supposed to be super special mind police.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. You should point that out, since envoys can't be cracked by virtual interrogation in this setting. I think she just loves him, as we discover later on when they bone.
Well, oh my god, I get so mad when that happens.
Yeah,
I get so mad.
I don't know. Nothing anyone does makes any sense.
Also, people need to stop grabbing each other's heads.
It's the most erotic way to slam someone's skull into the table.
No, I mean like whenever they want to drive home a point to the opposite, to a character they're interacting with, they grab the back of their head and they try to they tilt their heads so they can stare directly into their eyes.
Force my rhetoric into your cranium.
Yeah, like people need to stop doing that in this episode. I counted 4 different instances where people just grab each other's heads, just stare into their eyes. For no reason. And it's not like they're leaning in to kiss.
It's good.
Just do it.
The only reason you should touch another person's head is if you're going to smooch them. Smooch them right on the face.
Smooch or torture, that's it. That's the only reason you should be touching other people. Never be touching me. No one ever touch me.
Yeah, I hear that. So, moving along.
That's the bit where I said, why is Kelcris doing everything in this story?
I was going to say, also with making Kelcris responsible for Stax just makes no fucking sense in any kind of timeline.
Point of order on the she talks about what made Rome the biggest empire ever. It wasn't Rome. That wasn't Rhodes. That's dumb. You're dumb. You could argue that the aqueduct was a much better reason for the expansion of the empire. You know, the not shitting themselves to death every 10 minutes kind of helped.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Also, economics, brutal efficiency, and converting everyone else into their way of thinking. You know what? Roads are dumb. You're dumb.
No, Sean, you're wrong. Roads were a very important part of Rome's military might. Because the two things that let Rome fight so many fucking wars was A, having shitloads of people to replace their losses with, and 2, being able to get them places fast. She's not wrong,
but... They got there before the roads were there, though. They built the roads. After they took over places.
Yeah, which helped them fight the next place. So, Rome starts as a city, and then it builds a road to the people it wants to fight. Then once it conquers their lands, it builds roads through them. Then they use those roads to move troops to fight the next people. Come on, Sean.
No, I like the one where they're not shitting
Roman
themselves
Empire
to
didn't
death.
spring into existence fully formed and go, fuck, some roads would be a good idea.
It's not, you can't, alright, so roads aren't that bad of an idea, but it's not the only thing that led to their entire empire.
No, but it's the thing that has the best direct metaphor for being able to spread humanity out amongst the stars, and she's fucking wrong anyway, because digital human freight only lets you move consciousness. It doesn't let you move resources, it doesn't let you move troops, unless you're using envoys and fucking clone bodies at the other end. Like, it's shit. Her reasoning is shit. It doesn't make sense. Yes. Doesn't make sense.
No. I would still argue that aqueducts were more important.
Yeah, but you don't move troops via aqueducts.
Yeah, but I enjoy not having my troops shit themselves to death. Dysentery's a big issue, Chris.
Yeah, it's the biggest issue. Dysentery, help the homeless and long-term unemployed.
Oh, terrible. And then they bone. After she has her ridiculous thing. And the thing that annoyed me the most about it was, God damn it, they kissed, and she said we can't, like I should care.
Also, why couldn't they?
Yes.
Is it because she was a senator?
Yes. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And then the next thing I wrote was, he wrote her poetry.
Yeah, that's pretty great, I guess. Also, things
I
I should have learned by now is the name of one of Kel's books.
Probably, yeah.
No, not probably. It is.
Oh, okay.
It's the name of one of her published collections of essays and shit. Which I guess which it certainly couldn't have been that notebook she was writing in, since the ship exploded.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And she died. Yeah.
So murder mind control, is that a thing? Like everyone in the camp goes crazy right after they have sex because they download another MacGuffin into all their stacks.
Yeah, so
except it doesn't affect those three because they're not in proximity.
They weren't there at the time. Well, I mean, Ray was working for the Protectorate the whole time. Somehow, that's why she was immune, and Kelchrist and the Vatch were out. So what happens is
they were burning.
They do
that was why they were immune, because they were having sex.
Oh, of course.
It's
I
like
can't
reverse
catch
horror
disease if I'm doing a sex.
It's reverse horror films. You have to have sex to survive.
Oh, we need to tell the people.
Yeah. Oh, no, we can't. They all went crazy.
So the reason that this scene sucks, this is, in the book, this is the Innanen Beachhead, which is a group of Envoy Corps members are on Innanen, and they're doing an envoying, and a viral strike is carried out that infects most of the troops on the beachhead with the rolling virus, which eats their minds out and murders them permanently.
When I read that as an actual virus rather than something they downloaded.
No, it's not. It's a digital virus, which they use later on in the story to kill an AI.
Oh, that's
Remember?
right. Yes, they do.
Yes,
right.
The rolling virus.
Sorry, this show is ruining my remembrance of that book.
Yep, and Jimmy DeSoto dies of it, as he does in this scene. Yeah, and what is super important about this entire incident is
the fact that there's ash falling inside a cave?
No, that's not it. You're incorrect.
Because that annoyed me.
What is super important about this entire incident is that Vachmo's commanders knew that the enemy knew where they were going to land, and they had the capacity to do this, and they sent them in to die anyway. And then
World War I style.
And then the Vatch found the person who was responsible for this fuck up and murdered them, and then he was quietly discharged from the Envoy Corps. This is why he doesn't like the Protectorate. This is, well, I mean, his shitty father and a bunch of other factors are why he hates authority figures.
Yes.
But this is all super key and informative as to his character. But if instead none of those things are true, and instead it was just what they did, then that unravels a lot of his character, and it's dumb, and it's bad, and I hate it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Also, I can't stress enough, why is there so much ash this quickly inside a cave?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the source of the ash is.
You see it in the next scene. I literally wrote, lots of ash, but nothing on fire? Oh, there's the fires, because he starts running through the fires. But it doesn't make any sense, because how did the ash get into the caves?
Well, there's a hole at the top.
It's a very small hole.
I mean, it's pretty big as cave holes go, but yeah, there's more action there than there fucking should be. I did actually like the bit where the small boy with the rock looks around in a way that suggests murder is about to happen.
Yeah, I like that. For half a second, I thought we were going to get to see a young man kill a bunch of people with a rock.
Well, once again, they denied us an action scene that would have been interesting to watch.
This is
like
the
actually seeing everyone go nuts from the newly changed rolling virus and murder each other would have been pretty rad. But no.
And then they could have had it so that, like, as the last couple of people fell, except for the ones that he comes across, like DeSoto, he walks into the cave as they're finishing each other off.
I mean, yeah, that could also have worked. Anyway, cool. DeSoto says a few of his iconic lines. The Vatch blows his stack out.
Yeah.
Then Kelchrist and Ray escape in a flying thing, which they just blithely fly straight up with no mention of the fact that you shouldn't do that on Harlan's World.
Yeah, it's a shipping container covered in fans. That's what it is.
Absolutely. And then it explodes. And what's weird is
because of lasers.
Yeah, it was not shot down by the Martian platforms,
No.
and I don't know what else it could have been shot down by, because you can't put anything into orbit around Harlan's world, and you can't put anything high up in the air in Harlan's world. Where the fuck did those lasers come, Sean? Did a cloud shit them out?
Well, the thing, she clicks a thing like it's a bomb, and then the lasers intersect on the ship, right? We see
No,
that in the end
it's
where-
not a bomb. I think
she clicks it like it's a bomb.
No,
Like,
it
she's holding a
it
thing.
does not explode. I think
No,
it summons the lasers.
Yeah, but how does that summon lasers? And where
I don't
from?
know. It could have been a locational beacon of some kind, and sent her coordinates to a thing that then shut it down.
Also, the C-Tech armor design is really dumb and annoys me. They couldn't turn their own heads.
Yeah.
Like, the thing goes right up their neck. They wouldn't be able to turn their heads.
Also, again, if SeaTac is meant to be a replacement for the Envoy Corps, wearing a uniform is the last thing the Envoy Corps would do.
Yes.
Because if they know you're coming, you can't envoy them as well. So
Yeah,
basically, the Vatch... Wait, how does the Vatch escape? Does he just fucking leave?
No, he hides under a big pile of ash, and then when everyone else stops,
And then he
looking
just
for him,
walks off.
He walks away.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about how he actually gets off the planet, because that would be too hard.
Well, he never gets off planet. We see from the first episode where we saw him doing crimes with Sarah.
Yeah.
That's sometime later, still
That's
on Harlan's world, and that same group of SeaTac Praetorians came and got him. Because German cop man was the guy from the first episode, I assume.
Also Fireflies.
Also Fireflies. So after all that wank, although before we know that Ray is a traitor, we go back to the present, and he walks into a room in Raylene's enormous apartment, just fucking huge apartments everywhere,
Yeah.
and he finds a bunch of spare sleeves, like not in a locked room, just kind of in a cupboard, and we learn that, as I predicted, the woman with the snake was Raylene Kawahara.
It's the sleeve pantry, Chris.
It's the sleeve pantry. The sleeve tree, if you will.
Yeah.
Snake Lady from way back when was Kawahara. Mysterious computer man. Guy with the distinctive tie knot from the last episode was also Kawahara.
Child from the museum, yeah.
And the little boy from the museum was
I thought it was a little girl.
What?
I thought it was a little girl.
I don't know. That's small child.
Yes, that small child. And then he figures it out, but he figures it out in a flashback where he sees the fight they have in the ship before she blows it up.
Well, that's his envoy intuition unraveling what must have happened.
So how did he see the fight?
I think that was just... Okay, so the flashback was from the omniscient viewpoint instead of the Vatch viewpoint? The Vatch point? The Vatch point!
Vatch point.
Operation Vatch point.
Because after the flashback, the camera comes out of his eyeball. You know how they do in movies and stuff, to show, oh, he's thought about it in his eye brain. So how did he know that they fought before she blew it up?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
And then my final note on this episode is, thank God it's over.
Thank God it's over indeed. Well, my last note is, after she says, I did it all for you, big brother, is that
so creepy.
Raylene Kawahara has never done a single thing for anybody else in her entire life.
Yeah.
She is a bad, bad person.
Yep.
But I guess we're probably going to find that out next episode, where it turns out that his sister's actually shit.
Yeah, well...
Which they didn't even really try to string him along very much.
Well, I know two people who are listening to this really want us to review the next episode. Because they were talking about it the other night, how much they really want us to review episode 8. Is that because they know? Is that because they know how bad it is, or because it's the episode they like the most?
I don't know.
Next time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there.
This episode was maddeningly bad.
I give this episode 0 boats out of Sunjet.
Look, if they ever invent time travel, it's how I know that. Actually, that's exactly how I know they'll never invent time travel, because I won't have come back and killed myself yet. Just to stop me from watching that episode. I realize that's a paradox, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the time stream doesn't care.
No, and neither does Altered Carbon.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. I guess we're done.
Take it easy, everyone. We'll see you next time.